Hey, you guys, welcome back. We are going to talk about wisdom. It's a couple of days until my birthday. I can't believe it. And it's had me think a lot about wisdom. Like, where does wisdom come from? Thinking about the wisdom that I've gained in life and life experiences, right? Soul wisdom, all of these kind of topics. And if you haven't subscribed to the Soul Frequency Show podcast, you should go. We have these session episodes. But we also have interview episodes with some of the world's most amazing healers and thought leaders and authors and things that just will really blow your mind. It does. It blows my mind when I'm doing the interviews on some of the things that come up in the episodes and some of the things that I share and the guest shares. And I always say to my guests, you never know where it's going to go, right? We just show up to it and we just see where the conversation leads us. So if you're not subscribed to it, go to Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe and come hang out with us. And we are going to dive into wisdom. I'm going to share some of the things that have been coming up for me. And I would love to hear in the comments below, like, do you have wisdom? Like, what has come up for you about wisdom, life wisdom, living on the planet for a while, all of these important things. I would totally love to hear about it. We're going to start the actual episode right here and right now. This is Shauna Lee, and welcome to this week's The Soul Frequency Sessions, real talk about real life and how to raise your energy frequency. All right, you guys, it's literally the day this is coming out, 2 or 3 days before my birthday. Holy schmoly. My birthday is here. I can't believe it. I don't know where this year went. Are you thinking the same thing? Like, oh my gosh, 2019 just blowing right by me, right? It's like this speed car going 100 miles an hour through my life. It's kind of wild. And I was thinking about wisdom because I'm definitely not college age anymore, although sometimes I still feel like a college kid. Still like to roll around on the ground and sit Indian style and chitty chat with my hubby and my kid and just be goofy and laugh. And we play Jenga all the time. It's so funny. And when I'm doing those things, I feel like such a little kid. But then I've also been on this planet for a while. And I've had all this soul wisdom that's opened up over the past several years and higher wisdom that comes through me. And so there's all these different forms of wisdom. And I think that marrying all of them or bringing them all together is really profound and helpful. And I talked a little bit, I do these now on video, these sessions on my YouTube channel, which I've been talking about. And I always share a little extra beginning part that I don't share on the actual podcast. So you can go and subscribe to my YouTube channel and check that out there. But I've been thinking a lot about how wisdom comes through. And I think in this day and age, one of the things that's come up for me is that a lot of people have really loud voices, right? And I mean, not like just that their voice is loud, but they have loud voices in the world and with a lot of authority to them. So whether it's within a brand or a company or just telling people how to live or how to be or what to do or, and those voices we hear often and we think, oh gosh, they're so confident and they're so, it's such a big voice, like, and it's talking to so many people that we must follow this voice. And I actually think that wisdom comes through kind of quietly. When you think of, the elders in some different, tribes or different cultures, they're quiet a lot of the time. And when they talk, it's very poignant. And they're oftentimes people of fewer words. And I think that wisdom is a frequency and a transmission of a frequency. And I think that we need to access our own wisdom inside of us and to trust that wisdom and then to share that wisdom with other people in a way that leaves it open for them to listen to their own wisdom. So not from a place of this is the way that it is, but a place from really helping people open their door, right? And I think this has always been my intention with my work. And sometimes I'm a little bit quiet about it, like about some of the things that I know or some of the things that I see, because frankly, it blows my mind sometimes. Like, I don't know how to get my head around it at times. So if you have those experiences, I completely understand that. And I think what this birthday is about for me is really about owning my wisdom and not standing in the way of it, right? So not being willing to share everything. So one of the things that I um, have always been quieter in my life. I've always, like, it's really funny. I'll tell you a story about this. Like, about everything I've done in my life, I've always been really quiet about it. And I used to live with a roommate in college, and I would help him study sometimes. I was pretty good at school. And he would always come home from a test and be like, "Oh, I aced it. I totally got an A. I know it. It was amazing." And he'd just be all fired up, right? He's like, "Let's go get lunch." And I was like, "Wow, cool. That's exciting." But I would always think to myself, like, I would never do that. Like, that's not my personality. I wouldn't come home being like, I aced it, because I don't know yet. I haven't got the grade back. And so I would always be the person that would come home and be like, "Oh, I don't know. There's a couple answers I wasn't sure, like, and I don't know how I did." And every time with my roommate and I feel like I would end up getting like an A or an A minus, and he would end up getting a C. And he would be so like, "What happened? How did this happen?" Like, "Oh my gosh, I knew everything. I aced it." And I was always looking at my tests, like, with a totally different personality. I was like, "Oh, okay, great. I got an A." And I was always super excited, but I would never talk about it. And then I would look at the ones that I got wrong and be like, "Oh, yeah, I didn't know the answer to this." Right. And so there was this like quietness about the way I went about things. Right. I was never broadcasting things all over the place. So that you can imagine, when I started a podcast, this was outside of my realm. Right. It was me talking to a bigger audience, which was not something I ever did in my life, right? It's not something I ever felt comfortable with. And yet this wisdom, right, this higher source wisdom that was coming through me was calling me forward. And I feel like on the cusp of my birthday, it's calling me forward more. And I'm sharing this because I think that we're all being called forward in different ways. And sometimes we're just at a state of resistance of the ways that we're being called. And what I want to offer you is that the wisdom is coming through you a lot of times. Yes, wisdom for the life lessons we've had, for sure. But that's also, in some respects and in some vantage points, coming through you. And we are a vehicle and a vessel for it, right? And so the ways that we may have existed in the world or not existed in the world, or the things we may have been comfortable with or not comfortable with, are likely due to programming, right? And things that we inherited from other people. And we're being called at this time to let our wisdom be free, to share it freely and openly, not to convince others that they need to live by it, but to show others that it's possible to share their wisdom, and to offer it up as, here's my experience and here's the things I've learned, and allow people to resonate with that or not, right? To allow that frequency of information to open them up or not, right? Because we all have free will. So on the cusp of my birthday, I am really powerfully feeling connected to the word wisdom. And I'm also feeling really powerfully called up to share more of what I know. So I'm going to start to do that, right? Because we're never complete. This is a constant process of growth and expansion and opening up and challenging ourselves in new ways. And I feel like this birthday marks new challenges, beautiful challenges, opening challenges. So thank you for being here. And thank you for hanging out with me. And thank you for tuning in each week for these sessions episodes and the interview episodes, and for allowing the frequency of this information that I share to expand your heart space and to open up what's true for you. I think it's the biggest gift I could possibly offer somebody. And I'm so grateful that you come to hang out each week. So I hope you have a beautiful week ahead, and that wisdom keeps opening up, and that you think about what wisdom means in your life and how you can share your wisdom more and more. Oh my gosh, I love the wisdom episode. It just all came out. That's how it works. They tell me what topics, and then I just kind of channel what comes through. So think about it, you guys. Think about what wisdom means to you, what wisdom you have, what wisdom you'd like to share in any capacity with your families, with your children, with your parents, with your sisters, brothers, with friends, with anyone in your life. What feels powerful to share, and what wisdom is rising to the surface for you? You can put in the comments below what wisdom you think is rising to the surface. I would absolutely love to hear about your wisdom. I love learning from the wisdom of others. So go ahead and comment below and let me know what's rising to the surface. And we will be back next week for more. All right. Have a beautiful week ahead. Bye-bye.